The Enemy by Pearl S. Buck. This is the lesson that is included in CBSE Class 12 English Score VISTAS, presented by K.D. Jha, retired VP and AEO KVS. This is the story, quite interesting, where we will see that there is a deep conflict between humanity and the profession. Dr. Sadao is in conflict what he should do. There is a dilemma. He finds a war prisoner, and now what his education tells. As a doctor, his role is different. As a nationalist, patriotist, or citizen of the country, his behavior demands some different action. We will find that the doctor maintains both his duty very nicely, an ideal of a professional doctor, or an ideal profession, noble profession of doctor. Now, the basic question I told is, what is more important, loyalty to your country or saving a person's life, no matter who he is? The Enemy is a story of conflict between humanity and patriotism. The time is Second World War and place Japan. I will advise the students to go through the lesson, though the lesson seems to be big, but they should not be afraid. They should go through the pages with the pencil in hand, underline the key points, and then try to take out the main content points themselves, as I have done over here. If they can't do, they should learn from the passage that we have brought out. I have stressed note making pattern, so I have not given the points in complete sentences at places. It is in expression. The students should think that the content should be taken out of the lesson, as it should be in science stream or commerce or humanities. So they should learn the technique from this lesson and the following lessons that will come. Now, in the story The Enemy, the main character is Dr. Sadao Hoki, Dr. Sadao's wife Hana, an American war prisoner Tom, head of the Japanese army, the general, Dr. Sadao's housemaid Yumi, gardener, cook, etc. has also reference. Dr. Sadao's house, built on a spot of the Japanese coast, low square stone house, above a narrow beach outlined with pines. Japanese coast surrounded by island. His father often took him to those islands in his childhood. I have tried to put the content in different colors, and some related illustrations are also there, so that the student will get advantage of it in understanding properly and having long retention. They can remember in their mind with the help of the different change of colored content as well as the illustrations given side by side. Now, childhood to maturity of Dr. Sadao. In childhood, Dr. Sadao was taken to the island by his father, and he saw a man climbing for the coconuts in the South Seas. He also used to climb the pines. Father said, "Those islands yonder They are the stepping stone of future of Japan while seeing from the Japanese coast. He obeyed his father, never joked or played, honored the fact education, his father's chief concern. His father wanted him to be a well-educated person, and so he fulfilled the ambition and tried in that direction. He was sent at the age of 22 to America to study surgery and medicine. In America, he found difficulty in finding a place because he was a Japanese. His landlady, now see I have given in points, different points has been given separated, nursed him through influenza, no less repulsive to him, her kindness. Anatomy teacher insisted on mercy with the knife. American professor and his wife were kind people, anxious to do for foreign students. American professor's house is defined here as rooms were small, bad food were not served properly. Met Hana at their house, did not love Hana first, wanted to confirm if she was Japanese. Both Hana and Sadao came back home to Japan, married in an old Japanese way with the parents' consent. In the present condition, happy couple with 2 children, living in house in Japan with servants. Dr. Sadao was a famous surgeon and a scientist, working in Japanese army as surgeon, was not sent abroad with the troop because the general wanted medical care. Second, he trusted only Dr. Sadao. When he joined the army, and he was especially because of his professional achievement and his faithful behavior and nature dedicated service, general wanted to keep him with him because of these 2 reasons. So questions are asked why he wasn't sent abroad with the troops. An incident. Hana and Dr. Sadao saw a man flung out of the ocean, body outlined against the mist, arms above his head. Initially they thought he might be a fisherman from either of the 2 neighboring villages. Later came to know he was an American prisoner. Why? Points are, he was wounded, motionless, bleeding, unconscious, needed medical aid, he had tortured face and yellow beard. Sadao packed the wound with sea moss to stop bleeding. He noticed a gun wound on the right side of his lower back. Now, Dr. Sadao had a dilemma what to do, to leave on his fate or to save, thinking it to be risky because he belonged to enemy country, he was American war prisoner. So he thought that it might be troublesome for him to carry him. He might be arrested as an anti-national act. But initially they thought to put him back into the sea, because if they sheltered white men, they could be arrested. Finally decided to save his life before giving him to the police, so brought him home. He decided to tell the servants that they would hand him over to police when he would become fine. Man was very light like a fall. His body weight was not that heavy. Sadao carried into the bedroom of his father. Room was set according to the Japanese way with a matted floor. Hana called Yumi, her servant, housemaid, to wash the white man, but she refused because they knew that he was an enemy. Hana did not scold or force her, being afraid of police, because had she put some pressure on her, she might have told or informed the police. Sadao told two other servants to help, but in vain. Nobody agreed. They were loyalists, you can say, in that way. So they disobeyed him. They were frightened and said, if the master heals what the gun did and the sea did to him, he will take revenge on us. They were afraid because since he was wounded and he belonged to the foreign country, the enemy country, soon after his recovery, he might revenge upon them. So they were afraid. Now Hana washed him herself, though she did not like it. Later developed affinity for the POW. When she nursed and cared him, she developed an affinity, that is affection towards that man because of sympathy. Sadao came with surgeon's emergency bag, started operating on him. Hana helped him in every possible manner. Hana helped in giving the anesthetic, started thinking about the suffering given by the Japanese army. Now came to know young man was tortured by seeing a scar on his neck. That means he did not only get the bullet injury, but he was also beaten. Sadao found the bullet near the kidney. Bullet was out. Man was still unconscious. He packed the wound. Patient uttered guts. Now you see the illustration, the operated portion of the body. These illustrations will help you to retain the content for longer time. Now American prisoners condition. Pulse faint, but it was there. Heart too alive, he was not dead. Had extraordinary vitality, that means strength to bear all the torture. Blood flew more quickly. After the operation, Hana felt compelled to apologize. POW, prisoner of war, asked her how did she speak English. Hana replied, she got education in America. Sadao came after 3 days to examine the wound. POW, that is prisoner of war, asked Sadao if he would hand him over to police. Sadao did not reply because there was every chance that since he was an enemy and war prisoner, so after the treatment they might hand him over to the police. Thus he asked, but Sadao did not reply. Sadao explained his loyalty towards his country and his profession. He said, as a doctor, it is his duty to treat him, and as a nationalist, as a loyalty towards nation, his duty demands something different. Servants, Yumi, gardener, cook, discussed about the condition. Hana listened everything. POW told them his name, Tom. That means prisoner's name was Tom. On 21st day of February, Sadao typed a letter to the chief of police narrating the whole matter, but put that letter in a secret drawer. See, I have purposely changed the color over here. It's an important thing that Dr. Sadao is a loyalist. So he has narrated everything, what has happened, how he got the prisoner, he was unconscious, he treated, and then everything. But he did not hand over the letter. Simply he drafted it, typed it, and kept in his drawer. After 7 days, two things happened. Servants left belongings tied in large square cotton kerchiefs. Servants refused, they feared, so they left. Nothing was done. Hana paid them off and thanked them because he did not want to exchange words, or there could have been some danger. Police might have been informed by them. Yumi cried for the children. Now she had to leave the house because of her concern or loyalty towards the country or the fear. But she was attached to children, so she felt it bad. Hana did all the work herself. Sadao helped her because servants had gone. Now Hana was working hard on unaccustomed labor. Since she was helped by the house aides, now she had to do all the things herself. So it was a burdensome task. Saw a messenger in official uniform. Then there came a messenger in official uniform. She became helpless, frightened. Sadao came. Messenger asked Sadao to come to the palace since the general was in pain again. Now Sadao told everything to the general about the American soldier, to the general, who planned to send assassins to kill and remove the body of the soldier. The general heard the story and he said nothing to bother, he will sell the assassins. Assassins are the person who assassinates, kills. So they will kill the enemy and then take out the body. Sadao waited for the assassins. No one came. Tom was still alive. Now, next day, both Hana and Sadao waited, but nothing happened up to 3 days. They had been waiting for the assassins, but nobody came there to kill him. Now Sadao decided to send him in his boat to a little island, gave some provisions and a flashlight. Provisions here means food, water, etc. He examined Tom and found that he was perfectly fine to reach there. His temperature, etc., state of wound, heart and pulse, all were okay. Tom was full of gratitude towards Dr. Sadao because Sadao has helped him to the extreme, taking all risk, but he honored humanity. Sadao told him everything, what to do while going there and after reaching there, when and how to signal. He gave him a torch. He said to escape with on his boat, and when he get the bigger fishing vessel, he told him to eat fresh raw fish, etc., and escape by Korean fishing vessel. And in case of any problem, he will show the flash up with the help of the torch. Tom, dressed in the Japanese clothes, went away. Sadao went to operate the general. General asked about the man. He admitted that he forgot to send assassins. General told him that he forgot to send the assassins to kill the American prisoner. Now the general promised to reward Sadao for his loyalty because he has treated the patient and he has declared the truth to the general. So actual reward to Dr. Sadao was now no flash of light came from the prisoner. So he thought that perhaps Tom found a Korean fishing boat and went away. This was the real pleasure, real reward that Dr. Sadao got. Sadao remembered every person related to America, Professor Harley, the landlady, his anatomy teacher, and the youthful, haggard face of his prisoner. Theme: it proves that humanity is above patriotism and therefore indirectly condemns war. It also illustrates the conflict of a person who has to make difficult choices. You saw in this lesson that Dr. Sadao had this conflict, whether once he thought to drop the man back into the sea to his fate, and other was to save him in the name of humanity. So the message that we get from this lesson is what we need is to kill the enemy that lies within us and transcend the barriers, cross the barriers of caste, creed, and nationality to become, because before belonging to any specific nationality, we all are fellow human beings living on this common planet, the earth, and we need to coexist with love, kindness, peace, and brotherhood. Now, some comprehension questions are given here. You will go through these questions, and answer to all these questions has been very nicely put in different colors in the preceding pages we have discussed. You can very easily find the answer to all these questions. Even the long questions are there. I have put the contents in sequence, in points. Related points has been brought at a point. So long questions also you can solve very well. You should write the answer to all these questions because these are expected for your board exam and for better understanding of the lesson. Like and subscribe for regular updates. You will get information about the next task.